fall of 22, we'll add on 8th grade. And then we're going to stop adding. Maybe, hopefully. Preschool, this year for our preschool, we're added on an additional class that started back on June 29th. It's our 18 to 36-month-old class, or what we call our 2-year-old class inside, but it's 18 to 36-month-olds. And right now we have 8 in the class, and we hope to get to, someone else that came in, you want to give them? We hope to get to maybe 14 in there with 2 teachers. And then our 3-year-old class, the 2-year-old class is taught by Miss Ginger, and she's also our preschool director. And then Miss Tiffany is serving as our 3/4-year-old class, and Miss Christina is serving as our junior kindergarten teacher. And we'll talk to you more about that. You'll get to meet them tonight when you go to their class, and get to meet them in a little bit more detail. So I want to pray, if you'd pray with me, and then we're going to jump into this handbook, and I'll go through it just as quickly as I can. Miss Ginger will come up and talk, and then we will wrap up and go to our classrooms. And if you have anything to leave with us tonight, like an immunization record, a birth certificate, money, just saying. But if you do any of that, you can get with me after this meeting, and I'll be back here at this back table, and we'll get everything squared away as we kick off next Monday, August 3rd, officially for the new school year. Okay, let's pray. God in heaven, we thank you for this day. I thank you for each member of each family that has taken time tonight to come here to our school to hear about all of our plans and procedures and policies and all the things that we're trying to do to serve their family, each of these families and their children well in this 2020-2021 school year. Thank you, God, for your grace that has brought us to today through these last 4 or 5 months. For each family, God, I pray your grace and mercy be upon them. Pray you'll be close to them as they face difficulties and challenges and uncertainties. May your peace that passes understanding be with them. I pray for our teachers as they serve these boys and girls over these next 10 months, 12 months, that God, their lives might be impacted, not only today, but for the future. And may you be glorified as we go through this time tonight. We pray in Christ's name. Amen. All right, I'm recording this tonight in case there was somebody that couldn't be here. I know that you're excited to get to watch a preschool meeting, but you shall overcome. Okay, it'll be helpful to you. You get a copy of this in your email if you weren't able to be here, so go open that up and you can go with me through it. If you look on the second page, there's a letter from me. I know you're very passionate about getting there and reading that letter. That's a joke, thanks. Anyway, you should read it, and that's our prayer, that's our theme. It has our theme in it for this year. It's our theme for our preschool and for our elementary and middle school. Our mission statement is to engage and educate children in their heart, their mind, and their will. That's what that's our objective each day, is to engage and educate from the heart, mind, and will. And we do this by developing the heart through a relationship with the teacher. We think that the most important asset that we have on our campus is our teachers. It's not our curriculum, although we have good curriculum, but it's the teacher. Jesus said when a student's fully trained, they will be like their teacher. So we want them to be like our teachers, that we want them to learn, to know that their teacher cares for them so that they might have a good experience here. And then, of course, we try to develop a thirst for knowledge and wisdom, and we try to teach them to do the right thing even if they don't want to do it. And some of us today as adults are still, all of us are in some way or another, we're all still trying to learn to do that, right? Do that which we know is right, but we don't want to do. You can see about our educational philosophy, the financial terms. I'm not going to read through all of that. Let's see, what's not included in tuition, late payments. I have a sheet back here on the back table when we finish up tonight. Please stop by that table to pick up our return to school policy in light of the COVID-19 issues. There's a payment plan policy. I sent this out by email last night to your Dojo and to your email address. And by the way, just a side note on the emails, I mentioned this in that announcement, but if it went to your spam folder, you wouldn't have gotten the announcement unless you're in Dojo. But for some reason, Chris at GTCSwarriors.com and Gretchen at GTCSwarriors.com or admissions at GTCSwarriors.com goes to a lot of people's spam or junk folder. So if you just go into your, I don't know if you do a lot of address stuff inside your email, but put us in so that it doesn't go to the junk folder, spam folder, we would appreciate that. But what I was saying is, well, I don't know what I was saying. It's apparently not important. I decided to talk about email. Sorry about that.
You said there's papers back there.
Oh, there's papers back there, yes. It's been a day, a week, a year. There's the return to school policy, there's the how to make a payment online policy, and you need to sign a sheet that says that you have read through with me this handbook and that you accept the handbook as is. And of course, if you have any issues with the handbook, you can either bring that up in here in our meeting, or you can talk to me offline and I can help you through that if you'd like to do that. If you turn the page number 3. You see about the return check fee. We encourage, you want to take this back there, Ginger? Okay. I want to jump out of line here real quick. We highly, highly, highly recommend, we don't beg, but we're pretty close to begging, to please do not send checks or money orders or any kind of payment in your child's backpack to pay their tuition. We've had that happen a couple times and things get lost, and then that is a really bad experience for all of us, and we don't want to do that. So there's a variety of ways you can do this. If you don't want to pay online, there's those instructions that tells you exactly how to do it. You go into a web browser and you'll get an invoice each month in your email, and you just go in online, follow the directions, put in your payment. You can use like your ACH, like from a checking account. It doesn't cost you any money other than the payment. And then, or if you don't want to do that, you can use a Discover, MasterCard, or American Express through RenWeb, and there's like a 4% fee for doing that they get. I don't get that. And if you, RenWeb will not let you pay through Visa, because Visa will not allow RenWeb to pass the 4% on to the consumer. And so as a result, RenWeb doesn't allow that to happen. So if you want to pay by Visa, we have a PayPal account. I can send you the information how you can pay by Visa, but it will still charge you the 4% because it just does. And so if you want information about that, that's all on that payment sheet that's back there. And I can talk to you more about that if you have any questions. I sent out a video last night that it's very hard for us to make this decision to do this because we don't like to make an announcement that we're doing something and then have to make a modification. But we're having to change our start time for before care and our pickup time for after care very slightly by 15 minutes, 15. So instead of opening at 6, we have to open at 6:15. Instead of closing at 6, we have to close at 5:45. If it is a major change for you, that's a problem for you, if you'll see me offline, like when we get finished tonight, come and see me. I will do what I can to try to make some modification to make it work for you. But primarily, if you ask, well, why are we doing that? Well, there's a couple of reasons. One, we have a very small staff, and we don't have the resources to hire all of the staff that's necessary to jump through all of the hoops for a program that's very large. We have, for our preschool, we have right now 28 students, and that's pretty small. But the hoops that we have to jump through to allow us to be open from 6 to 6, according to the Department of Ed, is they want us to have to be able to be open 15 minutes more in the morning, 15 minutes more in the afternoon. I've got to have 2 more staff here, like we have a program of 150 kids. We don't have a program of 150 kids. So if you can work with us by 15 minutes, just get here at 6:15. We'll stay open from 6:15 until the time of the school day starts, and then we'll be open in the aftercare until 5:45, okay? I apologize for the changing. We don't do that very often, but again, if you have a major issue with that, if you'll see me after the meeting, I'll do my best to work with you. But you see the times for the extended care there on page number 4, okay? Car line for drop-off time. The drop-off time is changing this year. If you were here last year, you know that drop-off time was only a 15-minute window, 7:45 until 8. Pickup time was 3:45 until 4. Because we have so many more students this year, we're expanding our drop-off and pickup time. The doors will open for you to drop children off at 7:30 in the morning. So you can drop them off a little earlier than last year. You can pick them up between 3:45 and 4:15. So in other words, if you get here before 7:30, then your children will be in before care between 6:15 and 7:30. Does that make sense? And then if you get here between 3:45 and 4:15, you're just picking them up at normal pickup time. But if it's after 4:15, then they'll go to extended care. Before I tell you about extended care, let me just tell you about drop-off and pickup time, okay? You come in on this side of the building. Now, those of you that are here for having summer kids here, it's kind of different. You're just kind of pulling up, going up to the door, knocking on the door, somebody's letting you in because it's such a small number of kids. But starting next Monday, August 3rd, if you come here for extended care between 6:15 and 7:30, you'll come in on this side, you'll come up to the door, you'll ring the doorbell. If your child is 3-year-olds, they're 3 or up, then you'll come to these double doors. If your child is in the 2-year-old class, which is 18 to 36-month-old class, then you'll come to their single exit door. Does everybody understand that? Okay? And then what they're going to do is, what we're going to ask in light of the COVID situation, is we're asking you not to come in the building. We're going to have the sign-in sheet right there at the door, and they'll have the time written down that you're here. You just sign it, give us their things, and you can be on your way to get your day started. And then at pickup time, when you come in, if you come here for extended care, because I was just talking about before care, right?
Yeah.
Right. You come here for aftercare, 4:15 to 5:45. You come in, you park, you come up to these doors, and you knock on the doors just like you do for drop-off time for before care, and we'll come out, we'll have the time written down, you just sign it, take their things. But before we allow the child out of the building, we're asking you to sign them out. Once you've signed them out, then we'll hand them over to you. It's about a custody issue. They're out of our care and they're into your care. So therefore, when you sign them out, we've already written the time down. When you sign them out, we'll let them go with you, but then they're your responsibility. We don't mean that in any kind of crude or harsh way, but what gets difficult is, and we've had to learn from this, is kids see their parents and they're very excited. Well, sometimes. That's a joke. But it just depends, I guess, on what their day has been like, how they've done and all that, you know what I mean? Or if they just are really having a really good time at that moment and you're coming in and really killing it for them by taking them out of here. They get really excited, and as soon as the door cracks, bam, they want to hit the door. But when that happens, they're outside and you're trying to sign out and there's cars coming in, and that's madness. So we don't want to do that. So just understand, you sign them out, then we'll let them go to you, okay? Does that make sense? Everybody good with that? Okay, so that's both for before care and after care. But, at 7:30, when we start the car line for drop-off for normal day, if you have a preschooler that's getting dropped off between 7:30 and 8 o'clock, you're going to pull your car in and drive right down beside the building with your car facing this yard out here, the field, up as close to the sidewalk as you can get. Stop when you get as close to the car, make room and all that, park. And the teachers will be out there to sign your kids in and walk them into the building, okay? So you don't have to get out if you get here between 7:30 and 8 o'clock. We would really prefer they be in the building by 7:55, and here's the reason. We have to move these preschoolers that are 3 and 4-year-olds that are in drop-off time or in before care, we have to move them down to their classrooms. And then we start chapel out here for the older group at 8 o'clock that are kindergarten and up. And then after we're finished with using the gym and we disinfect everything and we've disinfected the halls, it's going to be kind of crazy. But after we do all that, then when everyone else gets down the hall and gets to their room after chapel's over at 8:20, then we have to disinfect the halls and disinfect all of this stuff again. Then we're going to let your kids that are preschoolers that are 3-year-olds or 4-year-olds come out of their room, come back down here to have their breakfast and to have chapel and go play, and then go back to their room, and then we have to disinfect all of that. Disinfect. We're going to be doing a lot of disinfecting is what I think is what's going to happen. So anyway, that's 7:30 to 8. If you have a child, does anyone in here, by the way, I know one that's here, you have a child that's not in preschool, but it's in elementary school or middle school. So I see back here, you have a 3-year-old and a 3rd grader, right? So if you have a 3-year-old and a 3rd grader, just pull up as close to or a 3-year-old and an elementary student, you just stay in the preschool line over here against the building and they both can get out there, okay? So we just want the preschoolers as close to the building as possible. It just makes things less chaos at that time. Does that make sense? So if you come here for pickup line, it's the same thing. You'll park on this side. Those that are in kindergarten or above only will be on that outside over there by the parking stops, and they will circle around, and then you can just exit out of the back of the parking lot after you've signed them. You've signed them out. We get them in the car, and you go on out and just try to be really careful. We asked, this is in the handbook, if you'll turn over to page well, I apologize. I got ahead of myself. Oh, here we go, bottom of page 4, I'm sorry. It's underlined and it's in bold. Parents are advised not to use cell phones while the car line is moving. We had an experience here 2 years ago where I could not get to the car quick enough to get their attention, but I saw what was getting ready to happen. There was a lady that was looking at her phone and she was typing in and her car was rolling. She wasn't going to hit a child because we walk with a child, but she was getting ready to rear end a car that was sitting in front of her. So just please, 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 if you're going to move your car, put your phone down, and for as quick as our car line should be, if we could just not be on the phone, that'd be great so we can pay attention. We have lots of kids going back and forth. We do not allow kids to just run off by themselves. We walk them out to the car. So I've had parents before say, there's really a better way to do that. But for my mindset, it's better if they're in your car and they're not harmed. And then they can leave, and it might cause you to be out of here 3 or 4 minutes later. But I would rather them be safe and all of us be 3 or 4 minutes behind than I would us just, have kids going in every direction. Does that make sense? Okay, so go ahead and turn to page 5. I already went over the drop-off time. I've been over that. The attendance, some parents have asked me about attendance, and you see on page 6, there's the tardy policy. Some people have asked, okay, is that really that big of a deal if my child's in preschool? They're not in kindergarten or above, so what is the big deal? Well, the big deal about the attendance is this, is not so much about the attendance. We don't want them to miss any days unless they're sick. If they're sick, we want them to miss every day that they're sick until they're not sick, right? Please have mercy on us all, and we'll have mercy back. But if they're going to get here, it's really helpful, particularly for the 4-year-olds and 3-year-olds, if they can be here on time so it doesn't disrupt the class. We get started, everyone's into a routine, the teacher's got their thing going, everybody's in sync, and then someone comes in. Obviously, you're going to have things that are going to happen. We're not asking for perfection. But it is good if you can possibly work hard to try to be here on time between that drop-off time of 7:30 and 7:55, as it says there on page 5. That would be helpful to us as we start the day. So we don't really, we don't write tardy slips, tardy policy. We don't have a tardy policy for preschoolers. We want them to love school and enjoy school, so we're not really trying to make it hard on the preschoolers, okay? That's good, right? That's good, right? Okay, good. Because, we want to try to motivate them to want to learn. We want them to have fun, and we want them to love learning. So we're not trying to, that's for older kids, so don't stress. Bottom of page 6, there's something about birthday parties. This is the part you're not going to like. But because of COVID-19, we're having to temporarily, and you might ask, well, how long is temporary? I don't know. Some people say this is the new normal. That makes me want to just go, we're going to have to just temporarily say you can't bring cakes and stuff of that nature to the school because we're trying everything we can. And I'm going to take a little side note here, and then I'll speed up. We'll get done plenty of time. But last year in March, all this came out, and we had to, for about the last 8 weeks, we had to go online. And we had some preschoolers come, but probably about half of our preschoolers' parents were no longer working, they had been laid off, and they weren't coming, which made sense. But we want to do any and everything we can within reason this year to ensure that as it relates to our responsibilities from early Monday morning until late on Thursday night, or for those that come on Friday, to go above and beyond being sure that kids are as safe as we can make them and make the environment as clean as we can to ensure that as it relates to us, that we've done everything we can to make sure that kids are not getting sick and that kids are able to have a good experience here. And what that means is this: we're going to buy some prepackaged, what's it called? The dry, it's the packaged stuff. Might be ice cream for the kid having the birthday party with some kind of a small prepackaged cake that's already, plastic wrap. And we'll make a big deal out of it, but we just can't have we don't want parents, don't take this the wrong way, we value our relationship with you. We would love to have you in the building, but for right now, it's just not gonna work, okay? So obviously you can come to that main entrance and ring the doorbell or send me a message and I'm gonna come out and see how I can help you, but we just don't want parents coming in the building when all these students start coming back. It's just gonna be, for how long is that gonna last? I don't know, but I'll be up to date with you and be talking to you, and of course you have a question about that, I'll be glad to answer it. Any questions about that or anything I've covered so far? Yes, ma'am.
Can you check our student out for lunch if we want to eat with them, or is that discouraged also right now?
For right now, we'd like to discourage that if we could. It'd be really helpful. I mean, I understand what you're saying. You know, to be completely candid with you, I haven't thought of that question. That's a good question, because they're going to be with you at home in a few hours anyway. So I would say, you know, the only problem I see with that for like kindergarten and up is that our lunch is only 30 minutes. And so by the time you get them out and get them somewhere and get something to eat, they're going to get back late. So if we can, just for right now, maybe we could hold off on that until we can think more about it. I just need to think more on that. But that's a good question. Page 7. Oh, by the way, any other questions about anything we've covered so far? Chapel's a big part of our day. We love to see kids singing about Jesus and hearing about his word and his love for them. So these little preschoolers, they start their day off by going down to their room and they have some center time, but then after they have breakfast and they have chapel. So what your children will get, we're having to reverse it a little bit because of our conflict with older kids. Instead of us having breakfast during before care, which is a very early drop-off time, we're doing a breakfast snack during morning drop-off, like before care, if your child gets here like 6:30 in the morning. But then at 8:30, that's right, correct?
Yeah,
8:30, they will actually have breakfast, so more children can be a part of that because they're not getting here so, you know, we're not trying to serve breakfast at 6:30 in the morning. Most kids will not be here that early, and so we'll just do a little snack for them, like a prepackaged something or other. What is it? I don't know.
Oh, it depends on we have goldfish, graham crackers, cereal bars, granola bars.
All that good stuff, like for that early time, and then they'll have a regular breakfast that you'll see on the menu at 8:30. Everybody good with that? Any questions about that? Okay. You see our core values, our discipline policy for preschoolers. Ms. Ginger can deal with you about that. Class Dojo is really a gift to us. We find it as a gift. It's a blessing to be able to update you throughout the day. So how many of you in here would say right now that not only do you not have connected to Dojo, but you don't even know what Dojo is? Is it some kind of karate or something? You have no clue what's going on with the Class Dojo. Anyone not have a clue? Well, that's positive. Okay, so if you haven't got signed up for Class Dojo yet, it's an app on your phone or your tablet, or you can go to classdojo.com, log in, send us your email addresses, and tell us, you know, your child what class, and we will get you connected. You can download the app. Your teachers will be able to communicate with you that way. It's a very easy way for them to communicate. And periodically throughout the day, they might shoot a short video of something that their class is doing, or they might send a picture. And it just sort of gives you some updates of what's going on throughout the day. I would tell you that some days are better, and Ms. Ginger can add to this a little bit, are more likely to be able to get more updates, and then some days things are just a little on edge, and you just can't get the time as a teacher to update give as many updates. And also I'd say about that, when you send a direct message to the teacher and you're thinking, okay, I need an answer like in 5 minutes, sometimes the teachers will be able to answer, but your fail-safe is to always send me a message, because they may not be able to look or get to it. So just send a text to the school phone or send me a message by Dojo, and I can run down and check on and talk with the teacher. Okay, I don't want to interrupt the teacher more than I have to, but if it's something really important, just send me a message and I'll get that caught up. Let's skip all the discipline policy. That's more really for the elementary. We really don't want preschoolers coming with cell phones, bottom of page 9. You know, it's just, and then we have, you know, bottom page 9, we have to put things in like don't bring guns and knives and, you know, all that jazz. Probation, I've never had to put a preschooler on probation. I did have to expel a preschooler our first day of being in business as a school. I can't use the word that this child used, but if you can think about not nice words, this was right there with failing, and it was bad. You know what I'm saying? We were figuring out Alex the bear. Is that his name? Max the bear, not Alex. His name is Max. And the little preschool teacher brought out Max the bear, and the child's question was, what the is that? And then I think he kicked 3 or 4 teachers, bit a couple students. This was August of 2013. Yeah, that ended that week. That was not a great way to start. We almost made it through the first day with no tragedies. And we didn't though. So it brings back memories. Memories.
I wasn't there.
Yeah, that was a great experience. Anyway, but usually we want to work with kids, we're not asking for perfection. One person asked me one time, you're looking for children to be angels, like perfect angels. No, they're not going to be perfect angels. None of us are perfect angels. We're not asking for perfection. You understand what I'm saying? We just want children to be able to progressively get better, just like all of us should be working on getting better at that in our life. And we just keep working with them. You'll find that our teachers are very patient and loving and caring. And if you ever have any questions about that, please let me know. We can skip all the way over to page, the dress code. I'm going to let Miss Ginger deal with the dress code for preschool, which basically just means, she can say more about this, but to sum it up, it just means don't wear things with zippers and buttons on the bottom part if possible. Is that a summary?
They should be able to pull it on and off themselves because we can't go in the bathroom with them. So
that are in the 3 and 4 year old class.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, even my class, they're potty trained, so they need to be able to we work on pulling them up ourselves and just trying to learn that stuff. So if it's something, just make sure it's not a one piece, it's something they can do themselves. And then closed-toed shoes if possible for the playground, because they're small and there's rocks on the playground, so.
Does all that make sense? On the closing of the school, if it's bad weather, which apparently we don't ever get here anymore, we live in Seattle, all it does is rain in the winter. We don't ever get snow anymore, apparently. But we do get flooding. But if we have to close, Dixon County sometimes will close, and parents have asked me, hey, if Dixon County closes, does that mean that you're closed? It doesn't necessarily mean that we're closed. We, as quickly as we can, announce on Facebook, our Facebook page. We send it out through Class Dojo, through email, and we put it on WSMV if we're going to be able to be on a delay, or if we're going to be open, or if we're going to have to close. And obviously, our big question that determines whether we can be open or closed is whether we can get our teachers here, if they're able to get here. I pretty much can get here, I think. I live 4 miles from here. But I think I can get here, but I don't need to be with 28 preschoolers by myself. This could be really bad. You know what I mean? It's just gonna be bad. I think they would be running the show by the time it was over. So we'll do our best to communicate with you as quickly and as soon as we can to let you know if we're gonna be open. Sometimes we have to run on a delay. There's a possibility that we might even run on a 3-hour delay, as long as I want to get the days in if possible, because we're only here 4 days a week for primary instruction for these older kids. So if we can be here for them, we're going to try to be here for the preschool. So just understand, if we have to close and I announce we're closed, just know that was an agonizing decision for us because we don't want to close. So it won't just be something easy for us. Oh yeah, Dixie County closed, we're closing. Because Dixie County's running buses and they've got high school students driving, and so the director of schools there has a much bigger considerations to make when it comes to whether they're going to be open or closed. Us, it's just, can we get our teachers here? And then of course, obviously, you have to make your own decision about whether you think it's safe enough for your children to be here. Over on page 14, page 15, there's a thing about financial support. Miss Ginger, can you deal with I'm going to let you deal with the health issues on page 15. You come on up. And the Little Warrior stuff, so these things here, and this here, and anything else you want to add, then I'll come back and wrap it up. Is that okay?
Okay.
All right.
Okay, let's see the name. No. Thanks, though. Okay, so it says you'll have a medical emergency information form. I think emergency contact. You all did that when you did the enrollment. We will go in that direct order. Of course, it'll be the parents, and then if we can't get in touch with either the parents listed, then we'll go straight down in that order that you listed it. What else is on here? We'll always try by phone. It's 99.5, correct? For the fever? 100. 100, okay. So we consider a fever of 100. If it's here over 100, then we will call you, and then we ask that they are 24 hours without a fever before returning, right?
Yeah, and I know there's a lady in here tonight that can tell me more about this than I could possibly know because she's a doctor. But from my understanding, CDC is saying 100.4 is like the minimum you can have and be able to get in to school. But for us, it's 100. So if you would just have mercy on us all. I know you have to work and you don't want to have to call off work if you can't find someone to watch your child. But please don't do the old Motrin trick at 5:30 in the morning where, by 7, they're down to like a 97. They're doing great. And then by 8:15, they're throwing up and miserable. You know what I mean? Y'all heard about the Motrin trick or the whole deal? I'm just trying to joke around. I'm not accusing any of you people doing that. I'm just saying I wouldn't say you'd do any of that. I wouldn't even dare say that you'd do anything like that. I'm just saying if you hear about it and you think, yeah, that might work so I can go to work, please don't do that because that's going to be a big hot mess for us. And we don't want your children to be here if they're sick. We don't want other children to get sick. And so if you know they're sick, because moms dads don't, it's not that dads don't know a lot, but moms kind of know like the insider story of what's going on. So if you know, yeah, they shouldn't be at school, especially in light of all this crazy that's going on, if you could just hold off, we would be, and everybody in here can amen that, right?
Amen.
Some of you didn't say amen at all. So I just hung that out there for you. I just threw it out there, and you didn't even catch it or hit it or anything. All right, go ahead.
Okay. So no doctor's note for just a fever. If they did have a rash or any skin condition that could be contagious, we ask that they have a doctor's note to come back. Having the same thing, or chicken pox, scabies, pneumonia. You can see all those on there. There's more than that. Lice policy. We have a no-nit policy. I know some schools are just like, as long as you've treated them, then they can come back. But we ask that there's no lice or nits, so we don't have to determine if they are alive or not. So we just ask for no nits, and that you have proof of treatment before bringing them back. Just a receipt or whatever is fine. If we do become aware of that, or you become aware of that, we ask that you let us know, and we will let everyone who's in that class know. We will not tell a name. We'll just say someone in the class and make sure everyone, checks their children. Immunization policy. If we do not already have your immunization record, you can give it to myself or Mr. Harris, right? Medications.
We'll talk about that. Go ahead to your policy.
Skip that? Okay, he'll do that part. So we already know you must sign your student in and out. We'll have the time on there for you. We talked about the clothes. We asked that it's something that they can do themselves. Even if they're just learning, it's easy, for them to learn. They will have to have a crib sheet. That's what fits on the mats. The 2-inch mat and a blanket for nap time. At the end of the week, if your child is only here 4 days a week, we'll send it home on Thursday. If your child's here 5 days a week, we will send it home on Friday for you to wash, and then you can send it back on Monday. Pillows. We've had issues with pillows lately. So we asked this year, this is the first time, that they can bring a pillow, but it's child-sized. Especially because of COVID or, lice or anything, and the state requires that other people's stuff don't touch other people's. And our cubbies are not that small. Are not that big. Sorry, they are small. And you have a full-size pillow. If it sticks out, then other people's stuff can touch it, and it's not supposed to stick out or touch. So if you can have a smaller size pillow, that would be great, and it'll fit in there really good. We can just shove it on the top. Toys. I know especially over the summer, some of you that have been here, we've allowed toys. But when school starts back next week, August the 3rd, we ask there's no toys brought to school. Not only for the germs, but it's just a distraction. We have plenty of toys in the classroom. There are going to be days like show and tell every Thursday. They can bring something then. The teacher will tell you about that. We're gonna send home it's like a daily report or a calendar. We ask that you look over that and sign it every day and return it. It'll be in your child's folder. We also ask that if anyone besides the guardians or the parents are gonna pick the children up, even if you put them on the list, if you just let us know. It's just, we just feel better about that.
I just want to say one thing about that real quick. I can't emphasize this enough. If someone comes to pick up the child that's not you or your spouse,
I don't like this.
unless it's a grandmother, you've already said this, but I want to say this one more time, because we just go above and beyond. We don't want your children being with anyone that you don't want them with. And we haven't had any scenario. We've made a few people mad by making them call and us call to confirm, but I would think that most parents would appreciate that we go above and beyond. So you can fix it by sending me a text message or a Dojo or Miss Ginger or Miss Tiffany or Miss Christina, just so we have it in writing. So-and-so that's on the emergency pickup list is picking up so-and-so today, and it's going to be time-stamped and dated so that we know you've given us permission to allow that person, even though they're on the emergency pickup list, just send us a message. And if you don't have time to type it out, just call the phone. Just call me. Just say, hey, Mr. Harris. And then I'm going to say to you, that's great, but it's 1 o'clock. So between now and 3:45, send me a Dojo message or one of the teachers so that we have it in writing, so that we are sure, because we don't want you calling us up at 5:30 and saying, somebody that's not supposed to have them has them now, and it's because you let them go with them, and now I'm having to fight with them to get them back, or something, God forbid, something worse than that, okay? Does that make sense? So please just be understanding with that, and we will be sure and take care of your kids, make sure they're safe, okay? I didn't mean to interrupt you, but that's a major, just please send us a message.
All right, also same thing, if your child's gonna leave early, we ask that you let us know. We could be outside, we got a sandbox, we just got it over the summer, 3 sandboxes, under the pavilion. They could be having snack, they could be doing anything, and we don't.
Taking a nap?
Yeah, taking a nap, for sure, because that interrupts the whole class, which if you have to do it, it's fine, but just let us know and we can have everything ready for them. All packed up, ready to go. We can wake them up a few minutes before you say you're gonna be here, and it'll just be less distraction for the other children. And also, since parents aren't coming in, he's the doorbell guy. If he comes down to tell me that someone's here to pick them up, I can have their stuff, give it to him, and he can just simply walk them down there. It'll just make it much easier for everyone if you can do that. So just send us a text. You can write it on your daily calendar. That's when we send it home for notes for purposes like that. So just have a little note on there and we'll have them ready for you. So the difference in my class, because I know that we've talked about this, the 18 to 36 months, it's right here. The 36 months in there would be the ones that are not potty trained. These 2 classes, the 3 and 4 and the 4, they have to be fully potty trained. So we just ask that you keep that in mind. They have to be able to change themselves, wipe themselves. We can get some flushable wipes in there if that helps. And if they're not already doing that, just for safety reasons, state reasons, they don't allow it. We cannot go in there in the bathroom, leave the other students unattended while we are cleaning them. Of course, emergencies, things happen, but as a whole, they should be fully potty trained to be able to pull their clothes up and down, wipe themselves. Does anybody have any questions about that? Okay. We ask that you leave at least 2 full outfits here for emergencies like accidents or, I don't know, popsicles. They could spill a drink all over them. I've had a student go through more than 2 in a day, and then I had to call the parents to bring some, and I felt really bad. Like, I'm sorry, you have to leave work.
If they want to.
You can, as long as there's at least 2.
Yeah, if you want to bring 3 sets of clothes, bring 3. Unless you don't want to do that.
Yeah, it's as long as there's at least 2, because I really feel bad, because I know how it is as a parent. You have to leave, your work. So also a pair of shoes we've had, of course, when they have accidents, it can go into their shoes. So another pair of shoes, because it is state, they have to have shoes on at all times. Let's see. Cups. We're gonna have water bottles here to fill them, but everyone will need their own cup, especially preschool. They can't read. All the water bottles are going to look the same, so we're just going to pour it in their cup, or we have milk, and we'll also have some Capri Suns. But the water fountains are going to be closed, so they all need a cup labeled with their name on it. I've told them that I was going to warn you, so just in case we have some without a name on it, if you see some permanent marker on the bottom, I told them to do it, it's my fault. Just want to make sure they're all labeled. Oh, yes, that's true. Yeah.
So if you'll just go ahead and label it, and she won't put anything on there, just label it, it'll be good.
Yeah, but they all know their cups, even my 18-month-olds, like, they know them, so that's just really helpful, especially with everything going on right now. At the end of the day, the staff is going to check and sign off on the sign-out sheets that they have double-checked that the building is empty. We have a bathroom supervision plan. If you want to know more about that, you can let me know. It was way too much to type up in here. It's a little different for those classes than this one, but if you have a question about how we do, the bathrooms, just let me know. We try to make sure that they have privacy, yet they're being supervised. So they're not in there for a whole long time. We don't know what they're doing. We do knock on the door. We check on them. We listen. My class, I leave a little crack so I can actually see them because they're smaller and they're new at the whole potty thing. But if you have any questions about that, just let me know. Also, the playground. We have a written playground policy just about how the teachers are supposed to monitor it and that kind of thing. So if you have any questions about that, just let me know.
Okay.
I think.
All right.
Did you need anything over here?
I'm just going to go through a few more things. Okay, we're almost finished. If you, when you did enrollment, if you signed that we could take a picture of your child and put it on Facebook with their first name, just know that that might happen through promotion stuff that we do. If you have a concern about that and you would prefer that not happen and you did not mark that in your enrollment packet, please see Miss Ginger, myself, someone to let us know, hey, I want to change that. We would only put their picture on there with their first name and that they're a student here at GTCS. So if you don't want that to happen, please let us know and we will be sure and make note of that, okay? Another thing you're going to hear about is that's pretty much, a lot of these things that you see the policies in here, because we have a preschool and we go up to 6th grade, we have a lot of these things that really only apply to elementary up to 6th grade. So we just did some addendums and put in some extra policies for the Little Warriors program. But I want you to know that not everything in here is applicable to you, but that which is applicable as it relates to the Little Warriors, just makes a little bit of sense about that. I just want to clarify a few things. Any questions about anything that's pertaining to anything we've talked about tonight or something else? I have one more thing I want to go over. How many of you tonight can tell me that you received an email last Monday or sometime last week, a week ago, that had our back to school policies in it in relationship to the COVID-19, or you got it last night if you didn't get it back on Monday? Is there anybody that did not get it? Anyone that did not get it? That's great news. I'm really glad you got it. Any questions about that or anything else? Yeah. Yes, ma'am?
The only concern I have is that this disinfectant, that is not going to be sprayed while the children are around it.
No, it will not.
So it'll be dry before they come in.
It's a disinfectant spray. I can show you the spray. It came from Centos that the EPA has approved, that other schools are using, that dries. It's only for surface. It's surface. It's not for the air. We will use some Lysol for the air, but we're going to be using this once the children are out of the room, and it dries itself in 10 minutes. That's what it's diluted quite a bit. Did that answer your question? We will not be doing that when the kids are in the classroom.
I mean, for me, it's including Lysol. Anything that can be aerosolized, when my children are around it. I don't use that stuff at home. So.
Okay. All right. You had a question?
Yes, it says that you don't serve lunches, but is that different for the little ones?
Sorry, we should have made that clear. That's for the kindergarten and up. We only do lunch for preschool. If you're on the weekly plan, that's a good thing. I really appreciate you bringing that up. If you're on the weekly plan, then lunch is included in your tuition. If you're on a monthly plan, then you can pay $10 extra per week, and that takes care of all of your breakfast and all of your lunch. So you're talking about $10 for 10 meals. So it's about $1 a meal. So we're certainly not raising the price a lot. We're just trying to cover a little bit of the cost of the food. Okay, and you'll get opportunity to sign up next week on Monday. We'll be sending home the menus, and if you want to sign up for pizza on Thursdays, well, you will sign up. If you're on a weekly plan, you're getting the pizza. You just have to let us know what you want. You want your child to have cheese? Do you want them to have pepperoni? That kind of thing. Does that make sense? Any other questions? I'm glad to answer them. Anything else? Well, if I didn't say it or make it clear, I just want you to know that I sincerely am grateful to God for the opportunity. We are, as a staff, our school, are grateful to God for the opportunity to serve your family and your children. It's a blessing to us. It's something we're excited about. We've had preschoolers here every week since back in March, but not grade school students. And we certainly have not had as many preschoolers that we would normally have because many were not able to come. But we're excited about 28 preschoolers that are coming back to school next Monday, the 3rd. We have 3 spots open in the 3 and 4-year-old class. The 4-year-old junior kindergarten class is full, and then we have potentially as many as 4 to 6 spots open in this brand new class that's already got 8 in it, and we just started back on the 29th of June. So if you, there'll be a later start date for anyone else adding to this class. We have to wait till we hire another teacher. So probably the start date for that, if someone else wants to join that class, most likely would be the day after Labor Day. We got to have about a month here or so to find the right teacher, to make sure that we're settled that it's the right teacher. By the way, if you didn't know, some parents have asked me before, these are just questions that are coming to my mind. Every teacher that works here has to have a TBI background check, has been through the TBI background check, and all of our teachers have been through that. So just want to make sure that you were aware of that. Sex offender registration, it does all of the background check on that. So just want to make sure. Some parents have asked us, hey, do you all do background checks? We have to be a program. We're monitored by the Early Childhood Department of Education, and so they monitor us, and that's a requirement that everyone has to have. Every 5 years, you have to go back through the background check again, okay? Any other questions you can think of? Hey, I really appreciate you coming tonight. What I want us to do is I'm going to turn it back over to Ms. Ginger. She's going to tell you which classrooms to go to if you didn't know, if this is new to you. Obviously, those of you that have been having kids here for the summer, you might already know where to go, but she's just going to give you some directions. When you finish, before you go to your classroom meeting to be with your teacher, if you would come back and see me so that you can sign the handbook sheet to say that you agree with the handbook or you accept the handbook, and so we can get that on record. I can give you a copy of the return to school policy if you didn't get it, and if you want the directions about how to pay online. And let me say one thing about that. If you can't pay online, or you're just like, I am not paying online, then this is how you can do it. You can drop a check in the mail if you want to. Our address is all over these documents right here on the front. You can just send it to us. We will make note of that in your RenWeb account a few days after we receive it, and then your account will be updated. You can also pay by cash. We would prefer that you come by the office if you were going to do that so that we can give you a receipt and make sure we get record of all of that. Please don't send cash in the mail, but just pay online if you can at all. And any phone, unless you have like enabled cookies or something about Oreo cookies, I don't know what's all the whole deal is, but all of that mess, unless you've done that, you should be able with any web browser to go online and pay your tuition online, following those directions that are back there, okay? Sorry I took so long, and any other questions? If not, I'm going to wrap it up. All right, Miss Ginger?
Okay, we're gonna go to the classrooms now, so you can just, see the room, have specific questions for your teacher, and the teacher will go over specifics for that class, just their schedule, how that thing works, and all that stuff. So Miss Tiffany is the 3 and 4-year-old teacher. If you're with Miss Tiffany, she's in my old room, but it is down this hall, last door on your left, okay? And then Miss Christina, the 4s only is down this hall, last door on your right. So they back up to each other. And then, of course, my room is right here. Everybody know where to go? Okay. Let me know if you need anything. Thank you. Yes. Please, I wish you wouldn't.